looking at the technological advances. I used to be on dial-up looking for
Impact Wrestling, August the 26th, 2021. So, the show opens with Chris Sabin versus Sami Callihan. The match is actually pretty solid. Sabin wins it clean with the cradle shock. Only problem I really had with this match was the way that Sami Callihan was working it. He was working like he was goddamn Andre the Giant, where he wasn't selling chops. He took a flying drop kick from the top rope from Chris Sabin and didn't leave his feet. He stumbled into the to the corner. Other than that, this match is actually pretty solid. I know what they were fighting for because, they had unfinished business from the Emergence match, but it would have been nice for something to be on the line here. After the match, Moose attacks, and he's not done with Chris Sabin. He also put his hands on Sami Callihan. This led to Eddie Edwards to come down there and beat him with a kendo stick, chased him off. Eddie Edwards then told Chris Sabin that they were square. And that's it. Later in the episode, these two guys argue again, which Eddie Edwards tells Sami Callihan, look, I don't need your help. Don't you ever help me. No matter what happens, don't help me. Don't do anything for me. To which Sami Callihan throws out a joke, and this 2 to 3 year story that they've had, it continues. It continues. It says how long these guys have been there. So Taylor Wilde asked for a 3-on-1 handicap match because he said, well, if I had to fight all three of them, I might as well know I got to fight all three of them. Of course, this was stupid. She ended up losing the match. Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering made the save, but of course a lot too late to matter because it was 3-on-1. She essentially just got picked apart, which is the right thing to do if you're 3-on-1, but you have to, have your baby face smiling about fighting three people at one time. It just doesn't make any sense. Mickie James comes out there, and Mickie James is talking about how they 2 nights away from making her story, HERSTORY. You're in trouble when somebody's making a her story comment. She talked about her Empower and all of the friends that that's helping her assistants, Gail Kim, Jazz, and Medusa, which is like a pretty terrible triumvirate you got there with Mickie James, Medusa, and Gail Kim. The Jazz, I don't know, but I know those 3, they are essentially banshees. It's gonna be a rough show. Can't wait to see it. It's gonna be a car crash. Can't wait to see it. Then, of course, Deonna Purrazzo comes out there. Well, before Deonna Purrazzo came out there was a vignette showing the match. And the match is, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, Melina versus Deonna Purrazzo for the Impact Wrestling Women's Championship, the Knockouts title. Deonna Purrazzo then complained that they didn't show in this vignette that she already beat Melina at Emergence in a tag team match, and that, this match is not going to be competitive because Melina is not on her level. Mickie James then says she kept saying that Melina is a Hellcat, which is very, very interesting. I did not know this until recently when I was doing research for Ultimate Pro Wrestling, because I was doing it for looking up for a subject that I'm going to be covering soon. And that Melina is actually a student at that school, and that she wrestled as La Felina, which is, the cat. And so this is very interesting that we bring it, full circle, that in her early career, she was known as the Cat. And now Mickie James is calling her a Hellcat and talking about how she's a legend and, how she never gives up and all that stuff. So I thought that was all very interesting. So Melina doesn't really come out there, but because Mickie James is giving lip to Deonna Purrazzo, they decided, they being Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt, who is now, I guess, her purse holder. In any event, they jumped Mickie James and beat her up. This led Trey Miguel to come down there and make the save at first. Trey Miguel bumped away Matthew Raywalt while Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo fought. And then Deonna Purrazzo, of course, was beating up Mickie James because, of course, that makes sense. Mickie James is a little bit older. She's a legend, giving the little girl a rub. This led Melina to come down to the ring to fight her off. And all things looked good. Okay, this was fine. It was not a problem. I like Mickie James. I still do. But she's making it very difficult for me. She really is. Trey Miguel as, the guy who saves the legendary women who are getting picked on and beat up. I mean, I guess that's fine. Not exactly what I want from him, but, it'll do. So the next segment was Brian Myers and Sam Beal on gear customization. This is lesson 31 on being a professional wrestler. Sam Beal calls out Brian Myers for talking about this tedious thing as gear customization. He wants to talk about how you cut off your sleeves for a shirt, because Hulk Hogan never wore sleeves because sleeves are stupid. You want to show off your guns. Sam Beal says, "Well, why you're not talking about losing the World Heavyweight Championship? Shouldn't you be talking about that? Shouldn't you be teaching me how to lose a world title match, how to respond, how to react, what to think?" Brian Myers, of course, doesn't want to talk about it because he did lose the World Heavyweight title match. He wants to talk about cutting up this shirt. So he has a pair of scissors. He has an Impact Wrestling shirt, and he cuts it up. It turns into a Stevie Richards like very short belly shirt, and then he of course gives him the sleeve to turn into a do-rag or headband. And then he says, "Well, I have all this information in my head. I got all these things going on. And it's only one you, Sam Beal. So I need another student. And it's time for a casting call. He's going to go have a casting call. He's going to expand his wrestling school, I guess." I enjoy their interactions. I'm not a fan of Brian Myers, but I really enjoy his interactions with Sam Beal. They're actually quite fun. Sam Beal shows a lot of personality in these. He doesn't just come across as a complete doofus. He also, asks some very poignant questions, some very serious questions. But now they're going to have him looking like a complete idiot because he's going to walk around in that goddamn Stevie Richards shirt. Ought to be pretty interesting. I wonder who they're going to put with him. Very interested in that. Chris Bay defeated David Finlay by roll-up, put his foot on the ropes. Not a bad match. Nothing to complain about. David Finlay didn't have to talk, which was really good. Willie Mack and Rich Swann said that while Emergence wasn't their night, they didn't lose. They didn't get pinned. They didn't take the fall. So they challenged the Good Brothers to a match and then won the match in the main event. They pinned Carl Anderson. It was via roll-up. And, of course, it ended up being a really, really bad idea to beat the Good Brothers. And they got beat up afterwards. Willie Mack got powerbombed through a table. And all this other kinds of bad things happened to Willie Mack and Rich Swann. So I'm guessing Willie Mack and Rich Swann are the next opponents for the Good Brothers in their World Tag Team Championship. All right. Okay. I'm willing to accept it. In the match, the main event itself, I'm not thrilled about the style of Impact's matches. Especially with the Good Brothers. It's kind of but it was fine, I guess. It's something for Willie Mack and Rich Swann to do. The Good Brothers need to wrestle people as in Impact. So I'm guessing wrestling Impact guys, which, is like finally there's Impact guys for them to wrestle. So going back through the show, Josh Alexander says he wants to have an X Division open challenge. Considering he beat Jake something, he says, but he wants to defend the title every week. So he says, hey, if you're a former X Division champion, I will wrestle you next week, open challenge. What do I think will happen? It'll probably be either TJP or Rohit Raju or somebody else I don't care about. What's the likelihood of it being somebody big and fun? Almost zero. What's the likelihood of it being somebody he's already wrestled and somebody he's already beat? Pretty high. I don't look at spoilers as I do this, so I don't know. It could be, Lashley. Lashley had all the belts, right? It could be Kurt Angle or something like that. It could be Samoa Joe. I don't know. The likelihood of it, zero. So, not a big deal. All right, so Christian comes out there. Christian says that Ace Austin, there's just no way Ace Austin's going to defeat him for the World Heavyweight title. Here comes Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer wanted to thank him for all he's ever done. Says that, we almost lost you. And we never got a chance to say goodbye. So for everything that you've done, everything that you continue to do, thank you for being such a professional. Because he's never been a big fan of the Don Callis, Kenny Omega consortium that was running around Impact, taking over. And then Ace Austin came out there wearing a lot of mascara. And I forgot that he wears mascara. And I was just dumbfounded by that. He comes out there and he looks like, what was this King Tut's coffin? He's got the runny lines on. I'm like, oh boy. Anyway, Ace Austin cuts a promo, says that he need to introduce himself. His reputation precedes him, but he's kind of the man around here, and that he's going to become the youngest world heavyweight champion. He's a 24-year-old prodigy, and that he's going to be world champion. Unlike Tommy Dreamer, Tommy Dreamer is way too old to ever be challenging for the world title. Now, he says this because Tommy Dreamer says that, hey, you know, because we almost lost you, I would like to have one more match with you, but I know I have not earned it. And I'm going to find some way to earn a match with you. And then Ace Austin comes out there and makes this comment that Tommy Dreamer is much too old to be wrestling for the world title. Some words are exchanged between Dreamer and Ace Austin. Then words are exchanged between between Ace Austin and Christian Cage. Christian Cage makes a joke about Ace Austin being very small. Said that he needs to stand on his tippy toes so people could see his face over the top rope. And you know what? That was so very true, because as I was looking at the stare down between them, I got the vibe that Christian was like a principal in a middle school, you know, and he's chastising this obviously at-risk youth that is, you know, in his office with strange purple hair and wearing women's makeup, and he's clearly out of bounds. So of course, a lot of wrestlers were masculine. I'm just picking with Ace Austin. I actually like the guy. I've been pushing for this. I'm glad Christian colored his beard and hair. You know, him and Edge both learned that, you know, the gray thing had some charm at first. It adds a little bit of character to you, but the longer you're around, the grayer you are, the less likely people are to stay attached. People are going to look at you like, God damn, dog, you're old. So Christian looks good now that he's colored his hair and he's colored his beard. He looks good, you know, so he looks healthy. He doesn't look so old. So good. So Scott D'Amore gets involved with this shenanigans after Tommy Dreamer and Christian Cage beat up Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. Ace Austin goes to Scott D'Amore to complain. Turns into a match in which Ace Austin is going to fight Tommy Dreamer. And if Tommy Dreamer defeats Ace Austin, then Tommy Dreamer gets added to the Victory Road match to make it a triple threat match. And I almost immediately wanted to, if it wasn't so hot in my house, I probably would have threw the cold water that I had. The last thing I need is for Tommy Dreamer to be potentially added to this match. I've been really pushing, really pushing for them to do something with Ace Austin. This is good, you know, him trying to push his way around because now he's the number one contender. The bad thing is that now he's got to put his title shot on the line. This is not good. It's not good. Hopefully he just beats Tommy Dreamer flat and then we can move on and talk about something else, because I did say in my emergence review that he needed some statement wins. I didn't think Tommy Dreamer would be one of the guys, but, you know, that works out too. So we got Tommy Dreamer versus Ace Austin next week. So Violent by Design cuts a promo. Violent by Design is mad at Rhino for losing. This teaches you things. And weakness is a symptom of the illness, of the sickness. And he blamed Rhino for losing the tag team championship. He was the reason that they lost, and then he was the reason they lost their rematch. So now he needs to be cleansed. Needs to be purged. Very interesting. So, Brandy Lauren. I remember last week I said Brandy Lauren should stick around, and she seems to be sticking around, or maybe not, because she cuts a little bit of a promo, and then she gets kidnapped by Su Yung and Su Yung and Kimberly kidnapped Brandy Lauren. Now, the reason why I say maybe not, because they also kidnapped Kiera Hogan, and Kiera Hogan is not coming back. So that's a very interesting scenario. TJP cut a promo next. TJP wrestled Steve Macklin on before the Impact, and he had nearly beat him, or he was getting beat up by him. However that goes, wasn't really paying attention. Petey Williams came in and got him disqualified, so he was pretty upset about that. Petey Williams wanted to thank you for saving him from Steve Macklin, and TJP says, well, no, absolutely not. I had the guy beat. Then Petey Williams says, well, look, you know, how about we be tag team partners? Or I thought we had a good thing as tag team partners. And they revisited this argument. They're revisiting this argument that they've already had, in which TJP says Fallah Bahh is his tag team partner, not Petey Williams. And then they agreed to stay out of each other's way, which is probably the best thing to do in the first place. Then you got Matt Cardona. He was cutting a promo on Rohit Raju about how he had a hard-fought match with him and that he had come to respect Rohit Raju, but then Shera had to get involved. So now his respect for him is zero, and he was going to continue. And then Chelsea Green paused him and said, look, you're not alone here. I'm here with you. How about we have a tag team match? Myself and you versus Rohit Raju and Shera. And I, again, almost spit out my ice cold water. It is 92 degrees in Detroit. Even at night, it's hot. This is garbage. And we got Chelsea Green challenging men to wrestling matches. Boy. Tasha Steelz, to put a cap on this episode, because the more I talk about it, the less I like it. Tasha Steelz denied losing, because they did lose. She was on the losing end of the Emergence 8-person tag match. She said no, she blamed Fallah Bahh for losing. Fallah Bahh showed up with No Way Jose, because apparently he doesn't feel the same way about TJP as TJP feels about him. He'll team up with anybody. And he says he wants to make it up. Tasha says absolutely not. And Fallah Bahh has the genius idea to divide and conquer Decay. That him and No Way will fight Crazy Steve and Black Taurus, while Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans can battle Havoc and Rosemary. And you know what? I guess so. You know, I don't know. Anything that involves Fallah Bahh, I have zero interest in. He's just worthless as far as I'm concerned. Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans needs to get away from these guys. If they want to have any chance of of being interesting, they got to get away from Fallah Bahh. I don't think Fallah Bahh has ever done anything interesting. He's just playing. He's just a guy that's there, man. He's just present. He should have went the way of Reno Scum, because I didn't like them either. But thank God they're gone. So that was the episode of Impact. David Finlay and Chris Bay was not bad. The Mickie James stuff wasn't bad. The Chris Sabin, Sami Callihan match was okay. So about the first hour was pretty solid. But that's about it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel if you please, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort, so question as if